Hello, this is Dr. Dave Yachter, the chiropractor. Thanks for joining me today. I have a question for you. Who do you know that needs to heal their broken brain? So, in this episode, you'll discover the 8 early signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. We're going to talk about the most critical factors when it comes to understanding and avoiding this terrible disease. And the reason why this is important is because this is something that I see currently affecting the majority of families that I meet these days. And some of this is genetic, but a lot of it is preventable with early intervention. And statistically, 1 out of 9 people over the age of 65 and 1 out of 2 people over the age of 85 are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease these days. So this is really important, and it's hitting home for a lot of people now more than ever. The problem is that Alzheimer's is a neurological disease that affects the connections between the brain cells, and this is what makes it deteriorate. Over time, as the illness worsens, it affects daily function more and more. And while science shows that there are some genetic factors as a cause, most people are just not aware of how lifestyle can either cause the disease and or accelerate it. So this is a huge, huge factor, and we really need to become more aware of this. There are a lot of unknowns when it comes to Alzheimer's disease, which is really within the realm of our ability and our capacity to have a better understanding of, to make a big difference with this in many of our lives before we see the onset of it. So we know that the degenerative process with Alzheimer's affects memory, reasoning, thinking skills. It causes confusion, forgetfulness, and many other different problems. There's no cure for the disease, as we know now. The only treatment really currently is just to manage the progression of it and maintain as much quality of life as possible. That's what's possible right now, currently, these days. Many Alzheimer's symptoms simply appear to be part of the normal aging process, like forgetting. It's one of the earliest and most important signs of Alzheimer's disease. By the time a person's symptoms worsen, though, it's usually too late. So here are the signs of a potential problem that could quickly point to the onset of Alzheimer's disease. Number one would be memory problems. And this is the most common symptom: forgetting important dates, events, having to write little notes all over the house to remember simple tasks that, these individuals usually could handle without help. Number two would be problem-solving troubles. When planning becomes difficult, someone takes hours to do simple little things like follow a recipe or add up a few numbers. We need to take note of that. Number three would be struggling with just regular daily normal tasks, such as doing the laundry, driving to the store, or even getting dressed in the morning. These are all common examples of how the easiest tasks or actions just become very, very difficult more progressively with people who are developing Alzheimer's disease. Number four is losing track of time and place. When a person can't remember how they got to the store, what day it is, what year it is, what time it is, when they begin to confuse the present with the past, these are very, very common signs. Number five would be vision problems. And this would be less obvious, but it's something nonetheless we need to be on the watch for: struggling to judge distance, see color contrasts, and assess spatial proportions. These are very, very technical and maybe subtle symptoms, but are part of the degenerative process nonetheless. Number six is messing up words. In speaking or writing, an individual may gradually begin to lose their place in a conversation, repeat themselves, use strange words for things, and maybe struggle to follow a conversation. If someone's normally an articulate communicator and they start falling into this pattern, this is a huge warning sign. Number seven would be making bad decisions, like things that are completely out of character, like stealing, buying unnecessary things, items, appliances, and things like that. Giving money to telemarketers or forgetting to take care of themselves properly is another warning sign for Alzheimer's disease. And number 8 is personality and mood changes. A person with Alzheimer's may just start to withdraw from their favorite activities and social gatherings just because they feel lost, and it's hard for them just to keep up. So they feel really uncomfortable. They can't remember how to participate, and they just feel frustrated and have random emotional outbursts, and only to forget all about them later. They just totally forget that any of that even happens. So these are just a small list of many of the most common signs of people who may be developing Alzheimer's disease that, again, you want to be on the lookout for as early as possible. And so the solution would be to look for any of these signs in family, friends, loved ones, and then most importantly, seek intervention as soon as possible. Another and even more important solution would be learn all you can about the Alzheimer's genes and how to suppress them from being expressed through proper lifestyle. Early Alzheimer's onset is less than 10% of the time, 10% of the people. Most people with Alzheimer's have the late onset form of the disease, in which the symptoms become apparent, usually in their mid-60s and later. And although researchers, they haven't found a specific gene that directly causes late onset Alzheimer's disease, they have, however, found a genetic variant of the APOE gene. It's called the apolipoprotein E gene, APOE, for short. So this, we know, does in fact increase a person's risk of Alzheimer's disease. And the APOE gene is involved in making a protein that helps carry cholesterol and other types of fat in the bloodstream. So this is the particular gene that we look at if there's something that we can do to offset the likelihood that we would be developing this from a hereditary standpoint. So again, 10% of the people who get Alzheimer's early on are early onset, and very often there's very little that you can do with that. You do the best you can, try to slow it down. But with the 90% of the late onset, 95% of that is affected proactively with proper diet and lifestyle. So in other words, you can have a profound effect on the late onset if you get an early start with these types of things. So again, the first thing to consider would be actually knowing if you have this variation or this APOE gene. And if you do, and you see that there's a hereditary predisposition for you to possibly be developing this or have an increased risk of developing Alzheimer's, then you take massive action long before something like this begins to rear its ugly head. Hopefully that makes sense. So we actually perform this type of DNA testing for the Alzheimer's genes, in addition to many other hereditary disease genes such as cancer, heart disease genes, diabetes genes. The DNA testing we do here in the office, it's very, very valuable from the standpoint of it like being a blueprint of what your genetic strengths and weaknesses are. And from there, you can eliminate a lot of the guesswork when it comes to supplements, nutrition, exercise, and exactly what your individual needs may be. So for more information about the DNA testing, just ask Deborah at the front desk, or you can call our office using the number on the banner below. So if you'd like to learn more about this, and also how to increase your mental clarity, double your energy, learn nutritional disease-fighting strategies, what kind of nutrition you need to focus on with this type of condition, how to prevent Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer, and heart disease. You'll learn all of this and a whole lot more at our upcoming Healing Your Broken Brain workshop. It's coming up Monday, June 16th at 6 o'clock. Click the registration link found in the description box below, or simply call our office with the number on the banner below the screen there. Seating is going to be limited, so we urge you to register now and get your free tickets for yourself, family members, friends, loved ones, coworkers, whoever it may be. This will be a life-changing event. Our Healing Your Broken Brain workshop and I'm looking forward to it. As we always say here at Elevation Health, live, learn, grow, and change. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love and appreciate you. God bless.